Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Roofing Contractor and Walls and Ceilings, and welcome to our Best of Success podcast show, and If Walls Could Talk. It's always an honor to have with me Trent Cotney, partner with Adams and Reese. Trent, it's great to be face-to-face with you.
Jill, I know, can't beat it.
It's gonna be awesome. So, big things happening in the United States of America. The election's over, Trump's gonna be in office. What does that mean? What are you hearing? What's making your phone ring?
Yeah, it is a lot of uncertainty now for a lot of different regulations and things that are out there. I think the Trump administration will be good for construction. I'll give you the pros and cons based on what I see right now. So, pro is deregulation. That was sort of a hallmark of the election. They're going to roll back a lot of the stuff that we saw from the Biden administration. I think the OSHA heat standard's dead on arrival.
The OSHA heat standard? Okay.
Yeah,
yep.
I don't see it surviving. The Corporate Transparency Act, that will be, I'm not a gambler, but if I was, I would put money on the fact that will be rolled back. A lot of the, the FCC one-to-one consent rule, that may be rolled back. Pretty much any regulation that you and I have been talking about for the last year, there's a good chance that it will go away.
It's going to be gone. That'll be good for construction for sure.
Yeah, that's a positive for construction. Other things are that I think there were a lot of discussions of some tax benefits, credits, deductions that could be taken, everything from, personal cars to no tax on overtime to other things that could be very good for employers. What will happen here, Jill, is that as soon as he takes office, there will immediately be a slew of executive orders. There will be a lot, and that they have been working on this for months. 6 months to a year. They've already been working on it.
Yeah.
And when that time happens, you can expect the executive orders to come one after another, and that's intentional because they want to inundate the opposition, make it very difficult to legally challenge. There'll be legal challenges, there'll be all that kind of stuff. But you can expect that is going to be the plan, is you're going to see a lot of action quickly. Now the tax element, that may take a little bit longer. Some of that you may be able to do via executive order, but some may not. Other question I'm getting is what happens to all the Trump cases, okay?
Right.
All the federal cases are gone.
Okay.
They're gone. The current Attorney General has already said, we're shutting down. First thing that he will do day one is eliminate all the top brass and probably some of the under brass there, and all those federal cases are gone. The New York case and Georgia case, those are state cases, so can't be pardoned there. The federal Attorney General can't really do anything about those, but there's what's known as the Supremacy Clause, which means that if the running of the government, the federal action takes precedent over state action, and I anticipate that the Georgia one already has a lot of problems with conflict of interest allegations and other things that are there. That's sputtered. I'm not overly concerned about that. The New York one, there's been some recent suggestions that may die on the vine as well. The big thing is that the public has responded that they call it lawfare instead of warfare.
Right. Okay.
That's not a good thing.
Oh,
whether it's Democrats or Republicans, I think the majority of people don't like the weaponization of the judiciary system, so that's going to roll back. What are the potential cons? Okay. Immigration. So immigration could be a pro or a con, depending on how. We've had open borders. Okay. Open borders are bad for security, bad for a whole host of reasons, but if I'm looking at it from a plus side, we've had an unlimited workforce without any real repercussions. So sub-labor has grown. We've talked about that. There's pluses and minuses to that.
For sure.
But you don't have to worry about getting deported, right? If there's heavy immigration, what does that do to our labor force, right? Does that create some difficulties, especially in the residential market, because you may lose a lot of the people that you relied on, or they may not want to come back after they cross the border to say, I don't want to risk getting deported. So we'll have to see how that happens. Obviously, we in the construction industry want legal immigration. We want to figure out a way to get these people over here legally and comply with the system. The other thing that I'm kind of keeping my eye on is tariffs. I think there are some benefits to tariffs, but I don't know how that's going to affect the core materials that are used for construction and whether or not that will affect construction pricing. I haven't seen anything yet, but don't know.
How much actually gets imported for the roofing industry? I know a lot of fasteners do, but I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
some of the core chemicals do.
Okay.
That make up, TPO and some of that kind of stuff. That's what
Got
I'm
it.
looking at. I'm not looking at,
Okay.
the shingle that's produced in Idaho or something. I'm looking
Right,
at
oh, yeah.
the core chemicals that may be reported,
that go
imported.
into making all of that. Yes.
Right. So that's my only question mark. I haven't seen anything yet that would suggest that, but that's interesting. And obviously, there's just a lot, and I think a lot of people right now have just kind of pumped the brakes on a lot of the risk mitigation they were going to put in place because there's uncertainty. So bottom line, though, I think it's going to be good for construction.
Yeah, I think so too. And one of the questions that I've always had in the back of my mind, especially when it comes to, Skills USA is something that NRCA is a big supporter of. And with a lot of these changes, what is your take? What's your feeling on, do you think that the administration will start supporting more of the trades? A lot of these things, even if you look at at high school, just in general, there's a lot of those trades classes, whether it's shop class that we used to have. Do you think that there will be a possibility that there can be a focus on that and kind of reinvesting in our kids, because we need the workforce as well, right?
I think the first Trump administration was open to CTE and VOTEC, and we had some favorable legislation that came out of that. I would anticipate that you'd see more of that. I mean, the difference between this Trump period and the previous period is that he's had the ability to really prepare and really understand. I've listened to some of the things that he said in podcasts and on reports, and he said, I'm a business guy and I came into politics. I had no idea what to expect when I got there day one, and made some bad choices as far as cabinet positions. I think what you're seeing now is you're seeing a well thought out strategic plan to implement stuff, and I think part of that is recognizing the value of skilled trades. Part of that is understanding the value of labor, and that that is something that we need to support. I think there are other things higher on his agenda,
Sure.
Immigration, taxes, dereg, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But if it's anything like his first tenure, I would anticipate it's going to be a favorable environment for CTE, VOTEC, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. And do you think there's any difference between whether you're a union contractor or non-union?
Trump this time was favored by a lot of union contractors.
He was, yes.
The Teamsters and others. I don't know if they went all the way to say, go Trump, but they certainly weren't supporting, the Biden-Harris administration. And I think that I think it will be a favorable environment for both union and non-union contractors. I don't think that you will see the regulations that support unions that we saw the Biden administration. I don't think there will be a lot of regulations.
Okay.
I think you and I are going to be talking about deregulation for the first year.
Yeah, that'll be fun to talk about, right?
Yeah, how
can't wait to see those roll out.
This was the case, and now it's not this anymore. Like the independent contractor rule.
Yeah.
That's going to be rolled back.
Oh,
It's
that's going to be
all
great
these
news.
different things. Yeah. So I'm excited because I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things from a construction standpoint to look at. There's going to be some. I'm excited from a legal standpoint because my wheels are spinning. Like, what's going to happen? How can we prepare? How do I get ready? Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking about. But I think there's opportunity.
And so do you think it'll be different even still from state to state, or will this all kind of take over everything?
I think it depends. So, I think depending on whether it's strictly in the purview of federal law or state law. So OSHA, for example, there's 26 state plans or so, and 24 federal plans. So things like California OSHA, they'll continue to operate business as usual, come out with crazy regulations, do all this kind of stuff, right? The federal states, Florida, Texas, other states, you're going to see less enforcement, less regulation, less rulemaking. That's a guarantee. We saw it the first time, we're going to see it again. Does that mean, we still want safety, we still want to make sure it's a safe workplace? But
I think most of the owners do as well.
Absolutely, it's good for business. So, and it's good for reputation, and everybody wants to keep their employees safe. But I do think that you will see an elimination of government overreach in a lot of different areas. Again, there's going to be some pros and cons, and the immigration component is the one thing that I'm most curious about. I'm looking at this all from an apolitical lens, right?
Of course.
And if I'm I'm wondering how that is going to impact. We relied so heavily on sub labor. It boomed during the Biden administration because
Yeah,
we had open
we had to.
borders,
Yeah.
no ramifications,
Yeah.
right? No ramifications whatsoever. And so all this labor has now come over, and all these contractors, especially residential, are relying on this illegal labor.
Yeah.
If that disappears,
Yeah.
then what happens to our workforce?
Sure.
Right. So that's the one thing where I'm curious to see how that's going to play out, more so than a lot of the other stuff. So.
All right. Well, stay tuned, everybody,
Yeah,
as this all
absolutely.
rolls
It's
out.
exciting. It's exciting.
Well, thanks again, Trent, for joining me. And if anybody has any questions for you, how do they reach out?
Sure, they can email me, trent.connie@arlaw.com, or hit me up on social @TrentConnie.
Thanks so much. And if anybody has any questions for us, it is roofingcontractor.com or wconline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content. Follow us on all our social media channels so you can stay up to date on all the great content we're putting out. But most importantly, stay safe and healthy, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. Thanks again, Trent.
Thank you.